This week's article was punishing women for being smart. And the first question was, why are women being punished in the workplace for earning high grades in school? It would seem that this article pushes the idea of applicants submitted that equally high achieving male and females, the men receive more calls for further discussion and than women with equal grades. So they were saying that was twice as often. And then in the fields of science and technology, the ratio favored by men was 3-1. I'm not sure if that means that smarter women intimidate the interviewers or come off as less likable. It seems upsetting that when you're in an interview, your experience, your intelligence, your education aren't the only factors. Like, I understand that you need to be personable, but the fact that women are being perceived as less likable due to their intelligence and men are, I don't know, I think they're being punished for the fact that they are equal to a man. So I know that in the book, it was stating that in the elementary school, that gender salience was relevant within certain contexts, but in the classroom, it wasn't one of them. The space in the playground or in sports or even bathrooms, they were really separated. But in the classroom, it was kind of put on hold for a second. So I think that it's an interesting point that now, from the educational standpoint, there is a sense of camaraderie or not much of a difference in the classroom, but when they go out into the workforce, they're finding that it is quite the separation and that they're being held to a different standard due to their gender. I don't know if that's just a stigma that sticks to women of high intelligence, and maybe they're perceived as not being easily swayed into specific roles or stipulations that are expected of them. Question number 2 is, why are women consistently discouraged from pursuing careers in the STEM fields? The article says it said that the findings on STEM jobs were of particular concern in light of the great efforts that schools do to recruit more women into the studying of science and studying of the sciences. That the fact that the men receive calls to discuss opportunities in the job force further twice as often as women, despite their equality within the grades and intelligence, it's kind of discouraging to see that while the educational institutions are trying to persuade them to come and study certain subjects, that the workforce is not working in coordination with the schools. So you have all these girls coming in and studying specific subjects that the school kind of recruited them for, only to find out that when they are put up for the same jobs as the men, they are not getting the same kind of treatment as the school is. It's not as favorable. So again, it was saying in the science and technology that it was favored 3-1, 2-1 in other circumstances. So it's just kind of discouraging to have such favorable treatment within the school setting and to be able to pursue your degree, but then when you go out to try and use that degree, you're met with some barriers. It was said that in the article that they were surveyed those who made the hiring decisions on the qualities that they focused on for specific applicants, and employers valued competence and commitment when considering males. But then when they went into the female applicants, it was more of the personality or perceived likability. This, combined with the stereotypes many men have about smart women, may explain that the findings that higher achieving female graduates are not receiving the same job market attention as those that are moderate or to their male counterparts. The book made mention of the insight of maybe a man saving face, for creating the separation so that they don't have to face the fact that if put in the same competition with women, that they may find that she is better or a better candidate in this situation for the job. What questions would I like to ask the researcher? I would like to ask them how many interviews they witnessed and at what types of companies. Was it large corporations? Was it little family companies? So that would be a question that I would like to ask. I would also like to ask, I would like to also ask like what fields of study they went through as well, and to kind of to be able to compare the different job families. I would also like to ask, was giving the GPA a necessity for the interview, or your grades, or your intelligence level, your IQ? Why did that, I suppose, why was that a necessity? And did the interview atmosphere change once the woman came out saying that she had a specific grade skill as opposed to the men? I would also ask if the interviewer was a man or a woman. I feel that maybe that could have some sort of factor in the results. And then also, what does likability mean, and why is it that the higher a woman's IQ or GPA, why is that considered a deterrent or reason not to be liked? And why is it the opposite for men? Why is it that smart men get a better chance? Like if they're equal, then how come it's the man that gets the part? What makes them likable? As far as the last question, how does this influence the maintenance of traditional family model of women at home and men working, and who is benefiting and who is suffering? So I feel that if a woman goes and puts forth the effort and money and time to get a higher education, just to hit a wall when it comes to actually utilizing that, I feel like you'd get upset and dejected and frustrated at the fact that you're not getting anywhere, and that your male counterpart is. So like if you're in a classroom with 50 people, 40 of them are men and 10 are women, and you're seeing that your 40 male counterparts all got positions, and the 10 women are struggling, I would feel that you would just want to kind of you'd want to give up. Like it would be just almost like the system's working against you. The fact that if you and your partner go out for a job and you guys are pretty even in the smarts and grades and the field of study, the fact that the man could have a 3-to-1 chance at a callback, what is there for the woman to do? I mean, so he's going to get that opportunity because of his gender, and so while you're out, the woman's out trying to get more jobs, and opportunities are getting squashed, she stays home until the opportunities come up. And if a family happens, or the man is at a job that makes good money, you'd say, well, why rock the boat? Maybe it wasn't meant for me to do that. And then you have your kids to take care of, and if it was good enough for previous families, and it's quite the traditional role, then why is it not okay for me? The educational system perpetuates the differences in men and women through such activities and subjects, sports, bathrooms, and they funnel them into these categories. I don't think it's much of a stretch to say that it's possibly an excuse to keep men on the top of the gender heap. The finding that the stereotypes that men have about smart women may explain the findings about the high-achieving female counterpart graduates not receiving the same job market attention. So I think that it's just, I don't know, a way to keep the gender binary level. We're in like a cycle, and it's complicated and hard to kind of make those changes when we are constantly bombarded with those separations and those walls that we keep hitting in terms of when we're equal, we have equal qualities, that one is being chosen over another because the gender specific qualities are being I don't know, forced upon them. Like the woman, it's the personalities, and then for the men, it's competence. I think there was the topic, I don't know if it was last week, a couple weeks ago, of like maintaining women in the supporting roles. Like it's okay for the man to be a doctor and in charge and being the principal, but once you introduce like a woman in that position, you have to like put some stigma on that. Like she can't just have that achievement. You have to like attach some sort of a negative trait to offset and balance the fact that a woman is in the top spot. Thank you very much. Have a good night.